So, you're itching to get your hands on your first motorcycle, but you're not settling for anything less than the best. It's all or nothing for you. After devouring countless YouTube reviews and poring over endless articles, you become enamored with a particular model. It seems like everyone adores it, and you're sold on every glowing review. But hold on a second. Let me throw a wrench into your plans. What bike is it exactly? An R1? A Speed Triple? An MT-07? Well, before you make that purchase, allow me to explain why you might want to reconsider. First and foremost, don't let someone else's experience dictate your decision. Just because some YouTuber raves about his Turbo Busa that's been sitting in his garage and collecting dust, doesn't mean it's the right choice for you. Especially if the guy lives halfway across the globe. Your capabilities and needs are unique. So take others' opinions with a grain of salt. The notion of a perfect bike is a myth. We all have different preferences, lifestyles, and circumstances to consider. Gas prices, insurance premiums, your physical stature, riding experience, and even climate all play a role in finding the right fit. Do your homework. Can you afford to maintain this bike properly? Remember, what works for one rider may not work for another. Some people genuinely dislike an MT-07, not because of its build quality or its look, but due to its engine. They find its power delivery too aggressive and prefer a smoother engine. They would choose an inline-4 Honda CB400 over an MT-07 any day. But here's the kicker. Even if you meticulously calculate every factor and narrow down your options to what seems like the perfect choice, you could still miss the mark. You can't be certain that what you desire is what you truly need until you experience it firsthand. Sometimes, a test ride isn't enough to reveal the long-term compatibility of a bike. Your dream bike on paper might end up being a disappointment in reality, because your expectations were too high. When you buy a motorcycle that is considered special or expensive, you might discover that you can't use it in the way you had originally intended. This contrasts with a cheaper and more common motorcycle, which you can push to its limits and abuse without feeling remorse. Now, if you're not one to overthink things and you're comfortable taking risks, then by all means, go ahead and buy any bike that catches your eye. If you have the means to purchase your dream bike brand new without hesitation, more power to you. But for the rest of us, who may not always get what we want right away, it's not that simple. Picture this. You're itching to ride, but the bike you've been eyeing is either out of reach financially or unavailable in your area. What do? You have two options. Wait indefinitely for your dream bike, or seize the opportunity to start riding now with a more accessible option. Sometimes, life surprises us with a more convenient alternative that suits us just fine. It may not be what we initially envisioned, but it gets the job done and brings us joy. Instead of fixating on the perfect bike, embrace the one that's within reach. After all, happiness doesn't wait for the future, it's found in the present moment. Find a good deal on a bike nearby and take the plunge. Trust me, you'll be happy on any bike. Whether it's Japanese, European, or American, you can't go wrong with today's bikes. If a great deal presents itself, seize it. If you live in Europe and there's a nice CBR 500R for sale in your city and the price is right, go for it. If you live in the US and your friend's selling his MT-07, go for it. If you live in India and a Royal Enfield is more accessible than the Ninja, absolutely go for it. If your dream bike isn't within reach at the moment, don't fret. Opt for one of the tried and true models that are readily available. They're popular for a reason. They get the job done and bring riders joy. Buy a bike and start riding. Your first bike will teach you more about your preferences and needs than any amount of research ever could. Whether it's a YZF 125 or an R1, embrace the ride and make the most of every moment on two wheels. Don't wait for the perfect bike or the perfect moment. The perfect bike is the one you own, and the perfect time to be happy is now.